if this is recording. Is it recording? Apparently it is. What is going on with the quality? Oh, good God. Anyway, as
you like me, you find it.
As you can tell by the title of the video, you know what? I was just having a look through some videos, and the world's perception of the New Zealand accent kind of pisses me off, to be honest, because they base the New Zealand accent on it's the same as any other country, right? Different areas of the country have different variations of the accent. And where I'm from, so, you know, Otago, Southland, Fiordland, all that sort of area, the Lakes District, our accent is, like, how would you put it? It's, like, for us, it's a southern accent. It's very much a southern accent. It's sort of like the Kiwi equivalent of the US. And, you know, the south of Ireland, or, you know, country towns in the UK, all that sort of thing, all those places. It's much clearer for us. I mean, not the same for the Irish at all, or the Scottish. Their accents, the further south you go, the thicker it gets and the harder it gets to understand. But just in that aspect, you know, it changes from where you are. And the what annoys me is the world's perception of our accent comes from the North Island. Now, I didn't actually know that this was true until I heard a pure, like, just, you know, a pure fucking North Islander come down. They were from, like, somewhere around the Auckland, Northland region. Waikato, maybe, I don't know, maybe a little bit further south of Auckland. But when they started talking, it was then I realised where people get the perception of our accent from. And it's really fucking annoying. First off, just to clarify, fish and chips, okay? Fish, not fush, fish and chips, okay? Just to clarify that to begin with, right? Good. That whole other bit, that's from up that way, okay? North Island, South Island. Because I lived over in Australia for a wee bit, and I didn't get any break from that bullshit whatsoever. Along with the sheep shagging. Now, I don't know how that came about. Honestly, I genuinely have no idea. I mean, I've lived in New Zealand pretty much my whole life, except for the 13 months I spent over in Perth, over in Western Australia. And yeah, no, I haven't met a single person that you know, the whole sheep shagging side of things. I'm not entirely sure what the fuck that's about. I think it's just the fact that we have a lot of sheep over here, and we do. But same with the UK and Ireland. They've got a lot of sheep. Why don't they have that title? Why is that ours? Honestly, fuck off with the sheep shagging bullshit, or I'll start asking what happened with your fucking baby, you dopey fucking. Anyway, it's not a very long video. It was just something that was rattling around in my head, and then I started thinking of this dick ad. Now, the way he says it is dick, basically, but it's dick. All right, it's an E, not an I. And because of where he's basing the accent from, it comes out like dick. It's dick. Okay, now in Australia, when you say dick, it's very close to the same word, which is kind of entertaining because that's also very similar to how this guy sounds. It's the dick sealant ad. It's the Schaefer's dick sealant. Now, in saying that, there are it, the way I'm saying it does actually sound a little bit like I'm saying it the way that people are giggling at. And I know this commercial is really, really quite old. It's like 3 or 4 years old or some shit. But it's a perfect example of how people are getting the New Zealand accent wrong. North Island, go there. You'll find the accent that you expect. South Island, our accent, to be honest, I mean, my dad would hate me for saying this, but our accent is actually relatively closer to the Australian accent than it is, a pure straight up Kiwi accent. And it is. I mean, I hate saying it myself, but I mean, I've lived in Australia and I have noticed a very vague similarity. There is a similarity there, but there's not much of one, which is why when a Kiwi goes over to Australia, it's incredibly easy for us to pick up on their accent. Ridiculously easy for us to pick up on their accent. It's fucking annoying. Although, in Western Australia, there's a surprising amount of Kiwis over there. I mean, I went over there. After I finished work, I went to this pub. It was just around the corner from the house I was living at. And I get in there, going for a CC and dry, Canadian Club and dry, and it's just sitting just sitting up at the bar, having a talk with the woman behind the bar. She was taken. I did not care. That was not the reason why I was talking to her. I was just talking to her because I felt like it. And next thing you know, this bloke comes up beside me, and he starts talking about Vietnam and how cheap the beer is over there. And immediately, because of I'm a Kiwi, so obviously I'd pick up on the accent. And he starts talking, and I'm like, hold on. Just in my head, I'm just thinking, fucking Jesus, I guarantee it. Anyway, I turn around and say to this bloke, he's continuing and he's going on, and I say, I'm sorry, mate, but I've got to ask, dude, whereabouts are you from? And he's like, New Zealand. I was like, well, yeah, I can tell that. But where in the South Island are you from? Because I could tell he was from the South Island. It was very, very fucking clear. He's like, oh, no, I'm from Dunedin. Whereabouts in Dunedin? Caversham. Holy shit, you're just up the house from where I was before I came over. Up the hill before, from where I came, from where I was. It's like, the amount of Kiwis over in Western Australia is insane. It's actually kind of ridiculous. Cool, but ridiculous. And I actually got to know these guys, and then I met another Kiwi. I forgot what her name was, but I can remember her name being H, because that's what she told me to call her, because it was much easier. And so yeah, but the whole stigma of accents, and even for different countries, not just the Kiwi accent, it's what part of the country they're from is how thick the accent is. Now, in the South Island, we have a tendency to talk a little bit faster than the people from the North, and that's just a normal thing. And yeah, I just fucking fish and chips. It's fish and chips. It's an I, not a fucking you. Jesus Christ. So before you start saying anything to anybody, whether they're from Spain, from fucking South Africa, from just anywhere, figure out where in the country they're from first. Because some people do actually take this shit pretty bloody hard. I mean, I worked in pubs and hotels and all sorts of shit over in Australia. And I worked in a factory filled with Australians. And one of the guys, the guy that worked right beside me and the bay beside me, was an Aborigine. So his accent was pretty fucking thick for an Australian. But, we got along like a house on fire. It was great. He was a good guy. But the ask questions first before you start making assumptions. As I said, I mean, I worked in pubs, I worked in hotels, I worked, in that factory. I've worked in other places, and over in Western Australia, it's not quite as bad because there are so many Kiwis over there. But you can still get it pretty bad, especially when the tourists came, because I lived in a wee spot called Margaret River. And down there, fucking hell, the Margaret River Hotel, Jesus Christ, I got it bad. As soon as they found out I was a Kiwi, that was it. It was just hyenas on a carcass. You know, like they can be absolute assholes about it. I think it's just an Australian thing towards Kiwis. I don't know. When they come over here, the only thing we take the piss out of them for when they come over here is the fact that they're used to fairly extreme heat. It's actually pretty bad over there. It can get quite bad. Northwestern Australia, upwards of 50 degrees Celsius. So, they're used to the heat. But the difference between the heat in Australia and the heat here is the heat there, they've got better ozone. They've got better atmosphere over them. We don't. You can get burnt in 14 degrees in New Zealand. If there is no cloud and there's no rain, even if there is cloud, in New Zealand you can get burnt from anywhere between 14 to 18 degrees. Piece of piss. Our atmosphere here is shit. We've got this gigantic hole in the ozone layer right above New Zealand. Over in Australia, I tanned. I can't tan here, I just go red. I biked around in Perth for an hour and 20 minutes and I only just started going a little bit red. If I was to do that here, I would need medical attention. I'd need to be in the hospital to get it sorted. But anyway, back to the accents. Now, this commercial, well, I know it is just a genuine piss take of the Kiwi accent. And fair enough. I mean, people have a dig at each other all the time, which, it's all good. It's all in good taste. It's all for a laugh. Whatever. But it's things like this that, give slightly slower people from different countries the wrong idea of an accent. Because, my duck sealant? I said, no. First off, no white Kiwi sounds like that. That's not a racist thing. That's just fact. That's my duck sealant. No. No. Bear in mind, we have a lot of island culture here. The islanders come over here all the time, and honestly, a majority of them, pretty much all of them, are fantastic to be with. They really are. And what's even funnier is the fact that there are a lot of places around the world that can't get the difference between, say a Pacific Islander, Samoan, Tongan, Fijian, and a Māori. Like the Māori are, they just, and because of that, they think all of them are from New Zealand. No. No. And it's because of that. And the mixture of the accents that comes into the country, and then kids are born in those mixed families. The accents are picked up from that, and Kiwis, and then it just melds together, and that's where that whole dick sealant comes from. And it's like, no. That's not a Kiwi accent. That's a mixed accent. We are exceptionally good at picking up accents from different countries. Like, for example, I grew up with this kid called Nick, and he was I knew him from when he was like 1 or 2 years old, right? Proper Kiwi, spoke the accent, buggered off over to the UK for a year, about a year and a half, comes back, and he just sounds full Brit. Went over to the UK as a chef, and there was I don't know, it was about 4 years ago, I saw him as I was delivering to the Emerson's brewery, the Emerson's restaurant in Dunedin, and he comes down, and I couldn't believe how much of the accent he picked up. It was ridiculous. It was actually ridiculous. It was insane. But yeah.
It's very hard to keep your dick dry. I left my dick unprotected and it was warped out of shape in no time. I could barely recognise my own dick. Imagine that. Then I discovered Schaefer's New Zealand style dick sealant. The best way to take care of it.
New Zealand. In some ways, like, I love this ad because it is fucking hilarious, but I also hate it because the accent that this guy is putting on is just wrong.
Your dick in 3 easy steps. First, wash your dick with soap and water. Then, wait for your dick to dry. Once your dick is clean and dry, paint your dick with Schaefer's dick sealant. I used to be too embarrassed to invite people over to see my dick. But now, my dick's the talk of the town. I even have pictures of my dick. Check out that dick. I'm going to send this to my secretary. Barbara always loves to receive my dick pics. After all...
See that? Eyes become U's. My dick pics. No. Actually, you know what? Dick pics. Pick, dick. Oh, I see what people fucking perceive our activities. We're not that goddamn lazy people. Come down to the south, right? Jesus Christ. It's like we're having this guy, he's talking like he's having a stroke halfway through his fucking words.
Summertime is all about spending time on your dick. I'll often have 20 to 30 people on my dick at once. That can really wear your dick out, causing dick splinters and discoloration. But with Schaefer's dick sealant...
Discoloration? Okay, now the eyes are turning into E's. Right. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough of this video. Oh my god. Really? I haven't properly analysed this ad yet. Like, just for the whole, oh god. I mean, it does make our accent sound fucking hilarious, but that's not how a majority of us sound. Maybe up in the North Island, that's a normal thing, but down here, not so much. New Zealand? No. It's New Zealand. Okay? New Zealand. Not New Zealand. Fuck off. Seriously. Fuck off. Oh, God. I mean, it isn't good sport and, for laugh and merriment, all that, whatever. Fair enough. But honestly, would people stop basing our accent on bullshit piss take ads like this, please? This wasn't a real commercial, by the way. This never came out. This is a piss take. We never had this ad. I remember being here 3 years ago. Never once saw this on TV. So, This was literally for a giggle. That's it. If you're wondering what I'm playing with, it's a little torch. But anyway, that was it. It was just a random thought that I had. Felt like sharing it. Basically about it. Anyway. I mean, it's 6:30 in the morning where I am. But in Dunedin. I guess sometimes, yeah. The punctuation does actually kind of slip a little bit every now and then. New Zealand style deck sealant. Actually, no, I could hear it a little bit just then. Deck sealant. Deck. You know, when you say it fast enough, it just comes out as deck. So, that's why the Australians have such a laugh. Anyway, I'm out. If you have watched it, thank you. It was just a